I just want to share with you in today's conversation five key things you need to know about the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature Card. Okay, this is one of the highest tier credit cards in the PenFed family, in the PenFed credit card family. So I want you to stick around till the end of today's conversation. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I am doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature Card, okay? And I want to share with you 5 important things you need to know about this card, okay? And let me just give you an overview. So when we talk about this card, as I said before, this is actually a card that is the highest tier in the PenFed credit card family, okay? And this is great if you travel often. So you have to be a travel aficionado, a travel lover like me to be able to actually to enjoy this card. The card comes with a $95 annual fee though, okay? It's very important. And so you want to make sure you use the card in a way that allows you to actually offset the annual fee, okay? In terms of rewards point rate, you have 1.5 to 4 points depending on the category. You have 3x rewards rate on air travel, so really good. So here are the pros and cons of this card. Pros: you earn rewards on travel purchases, no foreign transaction fees, travel statement credits, welcome bonus, and intro APR on balance transfers. Fantastic. Here are the cons. You have a high annual fee. You do have a high APR, and this requires, of course, a credit union membership. This is, of course, PenFed being a credit union, you got to have membership, okay, to enjoy. One thing I want to say here is that when we talk about this card, you need to actually understand that it requires good to excellent credit score to qualify. So first-time cardholders may need to build up their credit before applying for this card, okay? You need to understand that unless you are a PenFed Honors Advantage member, you will want to ensure that you take full advantage of this card's travel benefits and statement credits to offset the $95 annual fee, okay? And it's important to understand that this card actually is great, but it's not the best on the market when it comes to travel rewards. If you love PenFed, then go for this card. It is the highest. It's a very highly rated card, okay? We like that. And what we love the fact that there are other important features that are associated with this card. You have 24/7 fraud monitoring. This is really good. You have chip enabled cards. You have secure remote commerce. This is kind of cool if you have a family or you have a household and everybody loves traveling in that household. This is good because you can actually maximize your cashback rewards or your travel rewards, okay? So this is really great. Overall, this is great. And on top of that, the card comes with a balanced transfer offer of 0% APR for the first 12 months for transfers that are made 30 days after account opening. This is fantastic, right? Fantastic. Now let's talk about the 5 things you need to know, boss. The 5 things you need to know. Number 1, employment. Make sure that your income is high. Oh yeah. This card is really great, but you need to make sure your income is high. Now, how high should the income be? Well, if you make at least $4,000 a month gross income, that's a great start, okay? Well, then this is based on our research. A lot of our team members have the card, so we know that the PenFed will start looking at you more favorably if your gross income on an annual basis is $48,000 to $50,000, okay? So that actually corresponds to $4,000 on a monthly basis. This is really important. So do not apply for this card if you're making $2,000 a month, okay? I'm not saying there's nothing bad with it. There's nothing bad with that salary, but it's really important that you need to know which card you can qualify for, okay? And one thing I want to say here is that you need to make sure that you have long enough tenure at your current job. So PenFed looks at not only your income, but also how long you have been at your current job. You have to understand this card, the standards for this card are kind of high, right? So PenFed wants to make sure that you are in a position, you are in a position where you actually not only make good money, but you have been making good money for a while. Okay, this is really cool. And the best way to actually do this is to go to a branch and have a conversation with a PenFed rep, or to call them and provide information. Okay, it's really what it is, because they think about you. So anytime somebody has an unstable work history, okay, they are thinking the person is not financially disciplined. I mean, I'm not gonna ask questions about it. Are those two positively correlated, or are those two correlated at all? I know, but I'm not going to get into that. But one thing I want to make sure that if you have a spotty, unstable work history, PenFed will tend to think that you are not financially responsible. Okay, so here is the approach. The approach is, as I said before, you go to a branch, or you pick up the phone and you want to have a conversation. Have your paperwork ready to prove your employment, or your income rather. Okay, your pay stubs, your W-2s, your tax returns. Okay, and if you want to prove that you have been at your company long enough, you can actually have an employer verification letter. Okay, you can ask HR at your company to draft you a letter that you can actually send to PenFed that shows that you have been working in this company for, let's say, 5 years or 10 years and whatnot. Okay, this is really important. Okay. Let's talk about debt. If you're trying to get this PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa signature card, it's really important to understand that you don't have to have too many cards. In other words, PenFed loves the whole thing about exclusivity. They want to feel special. So if you have too many credit cards, number one, that's too bad, especially if those credit cards carry many balances, high balances. That's really bad, not just for your ability to clinch this PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa signature card, but also in terms of your FICO score, because your CUR, remember, your credit utilization ratio will go up. If you maintain high balances on those cards, or high balances in terms of open balances, your CUR will go up. And if your CUR goes up, your PenFed Next Gen Internal Score goes down, because your FICO score, which is closely associated with your PenFed Next Gen Internal Score, goes down. Okay, so you have a positive correlation between your FICO score and your PenFed Next Gen Internal Score. Very important. I'll speak about that later on. But so you want to make sure you don't have credit card balances that are too high. You don't want to have high debts. Okay, you don't want to have too many recent credit inquiries, because again, PenFed wants to feel exclusive. If they feel like you're just applying for credit cards here and there, then they're not going to approve your credit card application. No, they don't want that. Okay, so apply for credit card, especially for this PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa signature credit card. Apply for it sporadically. Apply for it strategically. Have a purpose in mind. Okay, don't you just apply randomly. I'm gonna try this. If it works out, it's fine. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. Hey, don't have that. Don't do that. Okay, this card is too important, and this card within the PenFed credit card family is too prestigious for you to apply for it randomly. You need a plan. You need a formula. Okay, so big decision time. What is your current debt load? What is your current CUR, your credit utilization ratio? What is your current DTI, your debt to income ratio? Talk to me about those metrics. I want to hear you. I can't hear you. Talk to me about that. Are you over indebted, or do you maintain a reasonable level of debt, or even better, do you have just minimal levels of debt? This is important. So you want to actually solve that equation before you contact the PenFed to apply for this PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa signature card. Okay, it's very important. So debt is a critical element in their approval odds, in their approval process. Let's talk about your FICO score. So earlier I was just talking to you about the direct correlation between your FICO score and your PenFed Next Gen Internal Score. Those two are positively correlated. As a matter of fact, both start from 300 and go to 850. Okay, and so PenFed actually maintains, similar to NavyFed, PenFed maintains their own internal score, making sure that their members are, they're They're not too risky. They don't actually lend to risky members. Very important. So, but when we talk about your FICO score in general, you want to really maintain a high FICO score. And we have talked about this before. It's very easy peasy lemon squeezy. Nothing complicated. People talk about FICO score. They give you a gazillion ways to raise your FICO score. All I'm just telling you two things. If you want to maintain a high FICO score, remember those two things, son, daughter. I want you to remember those two things. Number one, you want to pay your bills and you want to pay your bills on time, all the time. If you're lucky and if you have enough money, pay your bills in full, on time and all the time. If you can pay them in full all the time, you want to pay the minimum due. A little bit more than the minimum due will be better also. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to maintain low outstanding balances on your credit card and lines of credit. That's what we call, but that's what everybody calls in the industry, your credit utilization ratio. That's what PenFed and other credit card issuers pays attention to, right? They pay attention to that. So we're talking about what? We're talking about your payment history, which accounts for 35% of your FICO score, and we are talking about your CUR, which accounts for 30%. So when you add your CUR, your credit utilization ratio, okay, you add it to your payment history, those two together make up 65% of your FICO score. That's why I was just talking to you about those two are the ones that we care about the most. Okay, I mean the other three are also important. Things like your credit mix, things like your length of credit history, or those are important. Don't get me wrong, but the bottom line is you got to be in a situation where you are comfortable that, hey, listen, I want to raise my FICO score big time. And this ain't no joke, okay? Because having a high FICO score actually has a big impact on your ability to get a credit card, to get a loan and whatnot, okay? So if you have a recent bankruptcy, try to make sure that if you have a bankruptcy, you just have to wait, okay? But if you have a charge-off on your credit reports, that's something that you can actually take off or maintain. But what I'm trying to say here is that this will actually help you get a FICO score. If you pay off the charge-off, this will help you get a FICO score up in there. But it's just better not to avoid this in the first place, okay? Let's talk about credit thinness. So this is a big word. I mean, not a big word. It's a weird word, but this is how we think. So if you have a thin credit file or limited credit history, do not apply for this card. Do not apply for this card. You would waste your time. Okay, you will waste your time, and don't even try. I mean, I know people talk about, well, you can apply for any credit card even if you have thin credit history. No. This card, the standards are too high for the kind of credit score you have right now. Okay, PenFed wants to make sure that you have been around for a while. Okay, you understand the importance of credit. You understand the importance of financial responsibility. Then you understand actually the nature of the card you're about to apply for. Okay, the Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature is not a basic card like the PenFed Gold Cash, the Gold Visa card. No, it is very sophisticated. So if you have thin credit file, please do me a favor. You want to go back and do more research. You want to look for other cards in the PenFed family, the PenFed credit card family. So the cashback, the cash bonus card, okay, the platinum card, for instance, those could be actually closer to stuff that you can actually have. Okay, so if you have a limited credit history, don't apply. If you're fairly new to credit, don't apply for this card. And if you're not old enough to get a credit card, let's say you are 18 or you are 17, okay, or you are 18, depending on if your state has majority the age at 21. If you're 18, you're still a minor. If you're 20, you're still a minor in that state. Okay, so make sure that you apply for the credit card that actually fits your situation. So here is the approach. Here is what you want to do. My question to you is very simple. Is your credit thin? Do you have a limited credit history? If yes, you just basically want to start working on your credit score. I want you to consider I want you to consider secure credit cards or lower tier credit cards. Okay, I want you to maybe report your rents or other utilities to the credit bureaus. So you're trying to raise your FICO score. Okay, this is really important. So credit thinness is important because it allows you to actually lower your expectations to keep reasonable expectations, and this is what you need anyway. Okay, you want to have a reasonable expectations because you don't want to have your ass denied over and over and over. You don't want that. Okay, this is really important. So I'll be right back right after this. Right after this, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. Now, I'm still talking to you about the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature Card. And so there are 5 things I want you to remember about this card. So I spoke to you about employment being super important. I spoke to you about debts. I spoke to you about FICO Score. I spoke to you about your credit thinness. Okay, the thinness of your credit file. And now I want to talk to you about the application. So this is important for this card, and we have actually said this on many shows. It's just a lot better to apply at a branch or over the phone. Okay, so but if you have a high credit score, I'm talking about 750 to 850, you can apply online, not a problem, because the algorithm will actually work in your favor. Okay, but if you have anything below that, make sure that you actually fill out the application properly. I'm talking about filling everything on the application. Okay, so if you apply at a branch or you apply with the phone, or if they give you an application form to apply and maybe fax back to PenFed, make sure you fill out the application properly. Things like your name, first name, last name, your income, and make sure that you unfreeze, because there are some people who freeze their credit report. So make sure that you unfreeze your credit report. Okay, this will be very helpful because PenFed is going to do a hard pull, and they need to be able to access that information. Very important. Okay, and one thing I want to say here is that you need to understand that your credit score is important, but also so is your financial discipline, but so is your relationship with PenFed. Okay, so those are important. When we talk about application, we're speaking about being in a situation where you are maintaining more than one accounts with PenFed. So I'm talking about maintaining a personal checking accounts, but also maintaining a personal savings account. Okay, those are important things. And so money. So you're trying to get the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature. My question to you is, what is the status of your relationship, of your banking relationship with the PenFed? Talk to me about that. Do you have direct deposit go into a PenFed account? Do you have at least 2 PenFed accounts, 1 checking accounts, preferably the Access America checking account and the savings account? Do you have those? Those are really important. If you don't have them, I want you to go back to the drawing board and start having them before we can have a serious conversation about PenFed. Very, very important. And I want to close to this conversation. I actually have 2 more sections I want to talk to you about. I want to give you a few pro tips, okay? And it's really important that we understand that if you get denied, because there is a chance you could be denied actually for this PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature at this time. PenFed has all the reasons in the world to deny your ass or to approve your ass. It's totally fine, okay? And remember that when you get denied for a credit card, such as the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature, your credit score can actually decrease by 10 points, okay? But this will it will recover pretty fast, okay? That's not a problem. And you need to understand that it can take probably 1 to 3 months for your credit score to bounce back. We're speaking about only 10 points or 15 points maximum, okay? It's really important to know. And I want to give you a few pro tips that if your credit card application is denied, your PenFed, the Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature credit card application is denied, please, normally PenFed should send you a letter explaining the reasons of their denial. They should just maybe tell you blah blah blah, you've done this, you've done that, or whatever, okay? But make sure that you actually go through the reasons. And one thing I want to say here is that before you actually apply for this card, make sure that you unfreeze your credit reports. Okay, your credit score is important. The PenFed has access to everything from you. Okay, And one thing I want to think also, I want to let you know is that you have a way to reconsider. So basically, they have a reconsideration line. If you want to fight, quote unquote, the decision, you can actually ask them to reconsider the decision. This is totally possible. Okay, and that happens if you do not agree with the fundamentals of the decision. Let's say they say that you are making maybe 20 grand or 30 grand, while in reality you're making 100 grand. So you can actually tell, hey, listen, I am just making a lot more money now than I was maybe a few years ago. Okay, so if the rejection decision is based on my income level, this is not totally true. Okay, so big decision time. Have you thought about the best way to prevent any rejection once you apply for the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature Card? Talk to me about that. Or are you planning on applying for this card? If yes, when? And what have you put in place to make sure that you don't get denied? In other words, have you thought about your FICO score? Have you thought about your liquidity level? Have you thought about your direct deposit into PenFed account? Have you thought about the length of your credit history? Okay, have you thought about those things? Those are critical. This is critical information. So let me give you a winner strategy here. Here is a winner strategy. If you want to actually get approved for this card, and all credit cards for that matter, okay? But we are talking about the Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature Credit Card. If you want to be always approved, I want you to improve your credit before the next application. This is really important. I mean, you want to take time to actually improve your FICO score. Okay, many people take this very lightly. They think, I don't need to improve my FICO score. I just need to take care of my I just need to pay my bills on time and I should be okay. Yeah, this is one thing and it's a good thing, but you also need to be proactive in terms of removing whatever derogatory items you have in your FICO score, your FICO report rather. Okay, so if you have a FICO or reports that show off, like let's say 10 things you did 10 years ago and they're wrong or they're outdated, but those things have an important effect on your FICO score, you want to fight that. Okay, and one thing you need to understand also is that when we talk about, is there anything that you can do if you were denied for a credit card, such as the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards credit card? Well, you just need to fix whatever was written in the letter they sent to you, because PenFed will always needs to motivate. They need to motivate their decision to deny your credit card. Okay, they need to put down in writing why they did that. So you just need to work on whatever items they put on that letter, so that you are sure the next time you apply, hey, listen, you could be approved. Okay, and in terms of how long you should wait before you apply for another credit card from PenFed or any other credit card issuer, well, in our view, based on our experience, you should wait at least 6 months. Okay, so during that time, you want to take note of the reasons for denial outlined in the adverse action letter and work on getting those things resolved. Okay, and so credit cards, boss. My question to you is, if this is your first time applying for the PenFed Pathfinder Visa Rewards Visa Signature, what have you put in place to make sure that you don't get denied? And if this is not your first time applying, so when you applied the last time, were you able to recover? In other words, were you able to get another card really fast, or were you able to just apply at a credit card to apply for a credit card at another institution altogether? So I want to know. You can put in the comment section below. Tell us your experience with PenFed in terms of applying for the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it into this conversation. I was just talking to you about 5 things you need to know about the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature credit card so that you can get approved right off the bat with a huge limit at that. Okay, so I gave you an overview about the card and the 5 things you need to know: the employment, the debt, the FICO, the credit, thinness, the application itself, and I ended up with some pro tips and a winner strategy for you. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.